Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Rachel.
And welcome to our channel, The Great Adventures. So every 3 months since we started full-time RV living, we've been giving you guys an update to give you a clue of how things have been going. So it's officially been 9 months. Technically, we passed it last month.
Yeah, we're just not getting you the update. 9 months on the road.
Yeah.
And this is what things have been looking like. I have to look at the numbers.
So we're going to start with some stats to give you an idea of how much we've been traveling and how much we've been spending, and then we'll get to some of the highlights of the last 3 months.
Yeah, and I got the numbers written down so I don't forget. All right, we have hit, and so in 9 months, we have hit 25 states and Canada.
Yes.
And that is 7 more since our last update. So between months 6 and 9, we hit 7 new states. We have totaled we've traveled a total of 19,565 miles since we started. And so that is 7,300 more than our last update. And that is 3,353 miles of towing the trailer itself. The rest were day trips and running around for errands and all that sort of thing. So we have put a lot of miles in.
Yeah, a lot of miles on the truck. And then to give you an update on our expenses over the last 3 months, we did just put together a detailed expense video if you want to check that out, if you want any of the details as to where our money is going. But to give you an overview, over the last 3 months we spent $8,730 with a year-to-date total of just over $25,600. And then to give you an update on our YouTube channel, we actually just hit 3,000 subscribers. Thank you all for subscribing. It really means a lot to us. And total video views of over 250,000. Technically, we're at about 280,000, but that's including numbers from this past month, which don't really count yet until the next quarterly update. But with that, we can jump into some of the highlights for the last 3 months. We've actually done a lot, as you saw, you know, adding 7,300 miles in the quarter. But what's been one of your highlights?
Well, first of all, we finally made it out west. I think our last update we gave you, we were in Nebraska, and so we were just starting out.
Just heading west.
Just heading west. And so we hit a ton of national parks because we hit Wyoming and Utah, and just that's national park territory out there, just tons and tons.
We've actually hit a total of 13 national parks and monuments
all together.
Well, during the quarter. We've done a couple since then, since the quarter ended a month ago, but 13, and with that, it's been amazing. I mean, we paid for the yearly pass for the national parks, and so already we've gotten our monies out of it just after 3 months. The girls going to the national parks, they've done all the junior ranger programs.
Yeah, they love doing those.
If you're not familiar with the junior ranger programs, we probably should do a video on that one time. But essentially, they give them a little booklet to fill out while they're there to learn about the different animals, the wildlife,
geology,
the geology of the park.
Plants, so, all that stuff. And so they get their little badge at the end, and they get sworn in by a ranger, which is super cute.
And you might have seen that in some of our videos already.
And then our girls have cork boards up on their walls, and so they've been sticking all of their pins up there and keeping track of them, which is really fun. So we hit a ton of parks. Our girls each have favorite parks that they went to. My favorite, oh man, it's hard to choose. So many good ones. I don't know that it was my favorite park, but my favorite hike was probably in Bryce. Bryce was super cool, but we hiked the Hoodoos. So all those like tall rock formations. It was a great hike down to the bottom where the landscape changed down there, and then back up to the top. It was hard. I'm so proud of our girls for doing it, because that hike back up was just twisty and the elevation change. But it was great and such cool views, and my favorite hike was in Bryce.
Yeah, and for me, I would say probably Zion National Park.
That's a good one too.
We went in for 2 long days. We hiked a lot of different trails. One day we probably did close to 7 miles of walking with the girls, which was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, I think maybe one of the reasons why I like that park so much was because the girls did very little complaining about how long the hikes were. But there's trails for pretty much anyone. You know, if you're looking for something extreme, there's Angel's Landing, a couple other really difficult ones, but a lot of really easy ones for the little kids as well. And then we did partial way up the Narrows, which is
it's in the river. You're hiking in the river.
You hike in the river through a canyon, and the canyon gets narrower and narrower as you make your way up. The girls probably went about a quarter mile before they needed to stop. I went on probably another 5-10 minutes after that, but it was absolutely phenomenal. It's one of the parks that I definitely want to get back to when we have time again, just so that we can explore more of the trails and see more of it. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Yes, and we recommend renting the shoes. Well, our video for that hasn't come out quite yet.
No, it's coming up. It's in the next couple weeks.
They catch up with us, but yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, and so from there, our next highlight I would probably say was the Balloon Fiesta in Albuquerque, which actually coincided with a full-time families rally, which took place an entire week during that same time period. As we did with our first rally, it was just great meeting other families that are doing the same thing that we are. A lot of families that have been on the road a lot longer than we are, which is really helpful because they have a lot of information to share, insights that we haven't had yet. So it's just pretty much an awesome time. If you have an opportunity to do one, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, and some of the people that we met while we were there, we actually started following before we even set out on our adventure. We were in Italy and kind of dreaming about traveling full-time, and found Less Junk, More Journey and Crazy Family Adventure, their YouTube and blogs, and have been following them along. And you've probably followed them at some point as well, because if you're watching us, you're probably watching them because they've been around for a long time and have awesome content. But to meet them in person and to hear more in detail about their lifestyle and how they travel and how they do work on the road and all of that was really awesome.
And they were actually the inspiration for us to start recording videos and sharing our journey with other people, because we saw what they were doing, and not to say that we can do it better, but we can do it also, because everyone has a different experience, a different background story, and different, you know, everyone's going along a different way. So our inspiration has come from them, and it was just great to meet them in person.
It was really cool.
And then the fiesta itself was absolutely amazing. I got to go up in a balloon for a flight. It was pretty awesome. Video from that's going to be coming up soon.
And even from the ground, like it was just magical, to the big balloons blowing up and the kids running around so excited, and at night they would light up in the dark, and it was definitely a highlight.
And then from there, and we did this right after the Balloon Fiesta, but we've done it a couple times as well, but camping with friends and other families that we've met on the road. It's one of those things you hear a lot of, you know, how do you create community while living on the road and not having, you know, your neighborhood groups or your school groups for the kids, and how do you make friends? And going to the rallies has been one of the best ways to do it. You typically find other families that are camping or doing these travels full-time at campgrounds along the way, but starting with the rallies, that's where we've really met a lot of friends.
You have a big group of people to meet and connect with, and you kind of hit it off with a few different families, and then you keep in touch as you travel, and you might go different ways for a while, and then you cross again. And so just building that community network of friends and meeting up with them again is really cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. We met a family up in Yellowstone, and we camped with them in the Tetons. And then met up with 50 families in Albuquerque, and then right after Albuquerque, two other families joined us in White Sands for a couple days. Where we are right now, actually, it's about the week before Christmas, and there's 5 families at this campground now that we've met before, and some that we haven't met. So it's just a great opportunity to meet other people who are like-minded.
Our kids are out playing with their kids for a while we're working on this. So
we don't even need a babysitter. Yeah, and so that's one of the great things. And then boondocking. We actually started doing a lot more boondocking and dry camping during this past quarter. We got our solar situation sorted out, kind of.
Pretty much,
Which
yeah.
means we can pretty much go, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days without having any hookups. Actually, during the Balloon Fiesta, we did
That's the longest. We did 8 nights, absolutely no hookups. We did have the option to fill up with water if we needed to, or have our tanks pumped out if we needed to, but we did
made it all 8 days.
Made it all the way. We don't own a generator, so it was completely on solar. And then we just put together a video about our boondocking setup and what that looks like, so make sure you check that out. But really the Balloon Fiesta was where we knew we could do it, and so hopefully from this point forward we'll be doing more of it.
Yeah, and so for highlights, I think that's the big ones. I mean,
national parks, Balloon Fiesta,
camping with friends,
boondocking and friends.
There's a lot of little ones in there, but those are the main highlights that we've had over the last 3 months. There have been a couple other notable events. We were planning on going to Glacier National Park and camping up there for a week to 10 days. But as you probably heard, over the summer there were fires in Glacier. We were actually on our way to Glacier, and
just a couple days out when the fire hit.
The campground that we had reservations at, we called to make sure they were still open. They were, but they said there was fires within 10 miles of them.
And super smoky, and so they were great at giving a good refund back. And when they normally don't.
That's the thing. Life on the road, you always have to be ready to change plans and adjust.
Yep, and because of that, we ended up in Yellowstone for really much longer time than we expected, which we really loved because we loved Yellowstone and we needed that amount of time there.
Yeah, and then we had some unexpected maintenance on the trailer. We had to buy 2 new tires. We had two tires on one side of the RV that were wearing a little bit more than they should have. Got those swapped out and made sure that the new ones were balanced properly. Haven't had any issues since. It was great that we caught them before we had a blowout, because that can be devastating if you're driving down the freeway at 55, 60 miles an hour and those tires start shredding and can tear up the bottom of the RV. And then we had to get a new converter.
Battery. Oh, and a new battery for the truck too was in there, right?
Yeah, right at the end. So we had to buy a new converter for the RV. The old one started smelling for a little bit.
Yeah.
Rachel caught that. It was smelling really bad. It smelled like a dead animal.
We thought we had a dead animal trapped back in there. We took everything out and it wasn't. And then a few weeks later,
it was about three weeks later it finally gave in. So we had to get a new converter, and then we had to buy a new battery for the truck.
Just
the regular stuff that you would have to do. We haven't had any major issues. Both of those we were able to do the work ourselves, get those swapped out and replaced. Of course, you can buy anything off of Amazon, which is great.
Yeah.
During our last video, we gave you an update on how the girls were doing and what they'd been up to, but this time we're going to talk to them and give you a little bit of more insight directly from them. So Lana, what's been your favorite thing to do over the last 3 months?
My favorite thing to do was meet up with other families and full-time families.
And what did we do with them?
We played with them and we hiked with them a lot.
And camped as well?
Uh-huh.
And which family was that?
The Chans.
Chans. And what are your friends' names?
Suzette and Camille.
They're a lot of fun, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And how about you, Mariah? What's been your favorite thing since the last 3 months update?
My favorite thing in the last 3 months has been the full-time family rally in Albuquerque, New Mexico with all the balloons.
Because the Balloon Fiesta was during the full-time family rally. Wasn't that a lot of fun? So what did you do with your friends while you were there?
We swapped cards they had little cards for balloons, and then we got to meet other people and watch the balloons fly in the morning.
That's awesome. And how about, since we've talked about national parks, Lana, what's been your favorite national park?
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone? What do you love about Yellowstone?
I really like the buffalo and the geysers a lot.
They are really fun, aren't they? And how about you, Mariah?
My favorite, of course, is White Sands. It felt like November, like snowy weather, because it was really cold. And
the sand was white?
Yeah, the sand was white, because it's called White Sands, of course. And it felt like winter, and that was our Christmas, like our play Christmas snowman time. But it wasn't.
What did we do on the sand?
We went sledding.
We went sledding. Did we go by ourselves?
No, we went with the Chans and the Weinsteins.
It was a lot of fun camping with friends and going on little adventures like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, so those are the highlights from the third quarter. It's crazy that it's been 9 months, and now as we're making this, it's technically been 10. But that's a long stretch. I mean, it's crazy. We're getting close to a year. We'll give you an update on that. But so far, we're still enjoying it. We're still surviving. We haven't killed each other yet.
No. No, not,
Yeah.
we haven't killed each other yet. But I mean, there's a lot of things that we have planned over the next couple months. We're heading from here, and we're actually going to start heading east again
Back east,
for
yeah.
the next quarter. We're going to end up in Florida again. We have
In the
another full-time
spring.
family rally set for us in March, so we're excited about that, and we kind of have the plan going on from there. But just wanted to give you guys an update of how things are going. We are, as Rachel said, still alive, still kicking, still having fun.
Yeah.
But if you guys have any questions for us about, anything that we've gone through so far or any of the places that we visited, leave them in the comments below. We answer every single one of the comments, so
He does.
make sure. I do. She doesn't. Make sure you leave your comments with your questions. We'd love to answer them. If you want, you can follow us on Instagram if you want to see more up-to-date
Yes,
information
in
from
the
us.
moment, live
Yeah,
stuff.
because our YouTube videos are typically about a month and a half to 2 months behind, so
Yeah.
that's the way it goes.
Yep.
But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and we hope to see you on the road.